Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Meiman. I am Superman, my wife is Wanda. People in the beautiful comic draw superhuman bloodline. Liu Feng. Sometimes life is so boring. I thought I was in a desperate situation, but I was hit by rocket at the beginning. Superman bloodline, gunfighting, instant movement. He is the light of New York and the guardian of this city. 9-headed snake. 100 heads are not enough to chop. Loki wants to open the portal. I'll blow you out with a single punch. Destroy the tyrant. Sorry, the population of New York belongs to the New York Family Planning Office. If you dare to make a noise, please ask me first. Liu Feng. The sky belongs to the sky, the earth belongs to the earth, and New York belongs to me. Of course, Wanda, North Star, widow sister. All belong to me. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. My Wife is Wanda. You are listening at novelfull.audio. New York, United States. The warm sunshine poured through the window of a certain house onto a sleeping Asian, shining into his eyeballs through the cracks in his eyelids. Liu Feng was stabbed by the sunlight and opened his eyes. Just as I was about to get up, I found that my right arm was a bit sore. Looking sideways, a bitter smile couldn't help but appear. Pressing down his right hand was a charming beauty. Long hair as bright as roses, delicate as carved features, fair as jade skin. These stunning factors, combined together, effortlessly elevate this beauty's appearance into the realm of human aesthetics known as the existence of a beauty. And this is his wife, Wanda. Not bad, it's the handsome little sister from the well-known Marvel super movie, The Scarlet Witch Wanda. Today is the first anniversary of Liu Feng's marriage to her. Wanda breathes gently with frequency while sleeping soundly. The faint musk emanating from the protruding and upturned body is even more tempting. Even though he had spent countless nights, every time this scent reached Liu Feng's side, it was enough to make him feel numb and tingling, as if he had been electrocuted. He reached out to stroke the beauty's hair, then leaned down to kiss her forehead and whispered, "Good morning, my beauty. It's time to get up, the sun is shining on your buttocks." Woo! Feeling Liu Feng's kiss, but Wanda didn't seem to want to wake up at all. Such a charming red-haired beauty, like a mischievous lazy cat, resisted and twisted her graceful body, adding a touch of cuteness to her sexiness. Liu Feng showed a gentle bitter smile and got up to wash himself. Over the past 3 years, Liu Feng has become accustomed to life in this world, and he seems to have forgotten that Wanda is a fictional character in the movie. At least the time between the two of them every night is real, and Wanda's various are so good that they can play new things every time. Liu Feng has not yet received any news about other superheroes in the Marvel Universe. He himself is also closely observing news about Stark Industries and Hammer Company. From today's news, it seems that Tony Stark will have to wait at least 3 years to reach the timeline of Iron Man 1 in order to become Iron Man. At the current point in time, Dr. Banner, the Green Giant, has not yet been influenced by gamma rays to become a Hulk. He is probably still trying to marry the General's girlfriend and make money through scientific research, occasionally appearing in the news due to his successful research. He would never have imagined that in 3 years, he would become a big monster with his girlfriend. Both becoming extravagant. Doctor Strange is still working as a doctor. Spider-Man hasn't been bitten by an alien spider yet, so he should be struggling for his high school exam. The Captain of the United States and the Winter Warrior, 2 good friends, are still frozen in the deep sea. Winter soldiers may occasionally be released to carry out missions, but they will still be released back. The Avengers have the strongest combat power, and Thor, the god of thunder, is still eating, drinking, and having fun in Asgard. His father hasn't even given him a hammer to play with yet. Captain Marvel, this old lady who always shuttles through the universe, shouldn't casually return to her mother's home on Earth if she doesn't have anything to do. The Black Widow and Eagle Eye are naturally performing tasks as agents of the Divine Shield Bureau. At this time point, except for the Black Soy Egg, director of the Divine Shield Bureau, Nick Fry, they don't know what they are doing. The stories of other superheroes have not yet unfolded, let alone meet Liu Feng. The only superhero associated with me is my wife Wanda. As for Wanda's original fantasy, Jarvis has not been created, and he has not yet been born. Since you haven't even been born, then I'm not considered your wife. Liu Feng sighed in front of the TV. A beautiful voice came from the door. If you could wake up early and receive money, you would already be a billionaire, little bastard. Wanda, wearing a red lace nightgown, leaned against the door, her eyes drowsy. Under the sunlight shining in from outside the window, her beautiful figure made her skin look like jade. Have you had breakfast yet? Or do you need me to personally cook for this special day? Wanda asked with a smile on her face, looking so sweet. No need. Liu Feng ran over and said, I would rather have delicious you than breakfast. They call you the son of New York. I think it's more appropriate to call you the energetic little tiger. They call them, you call you. After all, my side is unique to you. After ending his entanglement with Wanda, Liu Feng changed into a formal outfit. The slim-fitting suit perfectly outlines his muscle lines. When he stands upright, his whole body emits a strong aura, like a statue, giving a strong sense of epic. This is the appearance of Liu Feng entering a working state, and also the appearance in the eyes of the world. He is the god of the world in New York, synonymous with justice and judgment. Liu Feng smiled at himself in the mirror and then went out to the New York Police Department. Upon entering the department, an old detective saw Liu Feng and quickly became excited, bowing. Dear Officer Liu, good morning. Wishing you a happy day today. Good morning John, my old buddy, there's no need to give this big gift. Liu Feng approached with a smile and gently patted John's back. But just such ordinary actions were greatly appreciated by old Detective John. No. You deserve this kind of treatment. If you're not even willing to accept it, we really don't know what to repay you with. We have nothing to repay you except respect, respected Officer Liu, John said sincerely. Liu Feng responded with a smile, it's all just a simple matter. It's nothing, and it's all something I should do. After all, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility, right? The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. What an admirable realm and philosophy. Officer Liu, we know now and we will continue to work hard. Oh my goodness, is it really him? The legendary New York Light Liu Feng. A legendary police officer who reduced the crime rate in New York by 50% with almost perfect solving ability within a year. A black man whispered in praise of Liu Feng. Don't be so surprised by the newcomer. As you gradually get along with Officer Liu, you will find that his amazing things are not limited to this. He brings us surprises every day, and we will definitely praise him to the point of exhaustion. Another white guy patted his shoulder. Sometimes, just looking at him gives me a sense of peace of mind. He shines like the sun, truly deserving of being called the light of New York. Oh yes, look at that handsome face and the sturdy body that cannot be completely hidden under a suit, it's really charming, a female police officer couldn't help but exclaim. Officer Liu Feng's father is from China, right? If I remember correctly. No wonder there is a hint of Oriental temperament that Americans would never possess in their expressions. Is it true that the temperament of Chinese men is so admirable? Do you also want to try Officer Liu's Chinese martial arts? In bed. Chapter 2. The Light of New York, Superman Liu Feng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liu Feng has a strong hearing, and these whispers of praise seem to be in his own ear, and he can hear such praise almost every day. Liu Feng entered the office. Jack, the police chief who was originally reprimanding the new police officer with a serious expression, immediately smiled when he saw Liu Feng arrive. "Oh, look who this is, my dear old buddy Liu Feng, our great hero, the light of hope in New York." The police officer had not yet figured out who the newcomer was, which made the director's face change as quickly as a Sichuan opera face change from Eastern China. But upon hearing the name of the person, Liu Feng immediately understood. The entire police department, no, the entire New York, who hasn't heard of this superhero-like presence. After all, the title of the Light of New York is not something that can be bestowed upon any cat or dog. After showing his hospitality to Liu Feng, the police chief looked at the police officer again. "If you don't remember what I just said, I promise I'll kick your ugly butt with my size 42 shoes and get out of here now." "Yes, Director." After the police officer left, Liu Feng sat on a chair. As soon as Liu Feng sat down, the director consciously stood up. Liu Feng remained silent, and the director acted so consciously, like a rule or a physiological reaction deeply ingrained in his mind, which was a kind of silent respect. Liu Feng didn't beat around the bush either. With both hands resting on his chin and a serious expression on his face, he asked the director Jack, "Tell me, why was the person I caught with my own hands yesterday released?" Director Jack's gaze was very interesting, first panicking, then trying to dodge, and finally squeezing out a helpless expression. And all these subtle actions couldn't escape Liu Feng's sharp eyes. "Liu Feng, I know doing this will make you unhappy, but I can't do anything about it because it's not my decision." "Who is that?" Liu Feng lowered his voice. "This is an order from above, I have to comply." "The orders from above? What kind of bullshit did they give?" "I don't care what foolish orders are given from above, that woman killed someone in front of me and was personally arrested by me. I will never allow anyone to release her without permission. Did you hear me clearly? It's anyone. Otherwise, I will settle accounts with you. No matter where I escape, I can find you. Believe me, I will definitely do it." Liu Feng's attitude was tough, and his powerful momentum directly suppressed Director Jack, who was just reprimanding the police officer, to the point where he dared not say a word. "Okay, I respect you and promise you that I will handle this matter and everything will be arranged by you," Jack replied after sighing. "Very good, this is my old buddy." Liu Feng left his office. As a result, just as Liu Feng stepped out with his front foot, Jack, the obedient director in front of Liu Feng, suddenly had a deep expression on his face. He reached into his pocket and took out his phone, dialing a number. He intervened in this matter. "Yes, so we can't do it now, we can only turn off X-23 for now." Liu Feng returned to his office and as soon as he sat down, a semi-transparent text box suddenly came to his mind. "Today's lottery opportunity is not used, should we start the lottery? Super lottery system." This is the golden finger that Liu Feng obtained after traveling to this world. Every day, he can draw prizes, ranging from physical objects to abilities. Liu Feng was able to thrive in this world thanks to his superhuman bloodline drawn a year ago. Yes, that's right. It's the well-known DC superhero Superman, who flies at the speed of light, pulls a train by hand, resists bullets hard, and never dies even when thrown into the sun. The potential of superhuman physique is endless, like an inexhaustible gold mine. As long as one is willing to mine it, it will always yield rewards, and its value is definitely not cheap. However, Liu Feng's superhuman abilities seem to be even stronger than those portrayed in the Silver Age comics, but as he has only obtained 1 year, he has not yet fully demonstrated his abilities. As long as I gradually acquire the power of Superman, no one in the entire Marvel universe can be my opponent. But drawing this physique seems to have exhausted Liu Feng's luck for the whole year, causing him to draw something insignificant, even bizarre, every day. For example, the pants of the Hulk, the wine pot that Thor has drinking, and so on. Today Liu Feng's routine lottery, as expected, what's the Black Widow's bathing water? Good guy, what's the use of this thing? Do you want to drink it? Liu Feng has become numb to this, but learning how to unleash superhuman strength is the top priority. After finishing the lottery, Liu Feng looked at the information placed on the table in front of him, on which was a woman with short brown hair. Laura Ginny, 21 years old, adult. Liu Feng squinted his eyes and kept repeating the name until the corner of his mouth curled up. If it were someone else, it would definitely be easy to overlook you, wouldn't it? At first glance, this name doesn't seem like a problem, just like an ordinary woman. After all, there are also many people with the same name in the United States, and the female lead of Tomb Raider is also called Laura, but this is for people in this Marvel world. But Liu Feng, who has watched Marvel movies including the X-Men series, certainly knows what kind of ruthless character this woman named Laura is with fierce eyes. The terrifying weapon nicknamed X.23, I never expected to meet you in such a way. Wolverine Logan's daughter, little wolf girl Laura Ginny. Liu Feng once understood that this woman, cloned based on the genes of Wolverine Logan, had no less slaughter ability than her father. Not to mention that she has grown up now and her mind is extremely mature. If she is allowed to wander in society without any control, it will inevitably cause a bloody storm. She can give off a very violent aura just from the photo, which everyone can detect. Facing such a person, Jack wants to let her go. There must be some tricks involved. Liu Feng looked slightly at the position of the director's office. It seems that Jack, the police chief, is not a good person either, and his goal is very clear. But Director Jack is not Liu Feng's target. Liu Feng looked at the information of the little wolf girl Laura in his hand again. After thinking it over, Liu Feng stood up and went to the interrogation room. It seems that I have to talk to you for a while. Dong. Liu Feng pushed open and closed the door, entering the interrogation room where the wolf girl Laura was being held. Laura showed no response. She remained motionless, staring blankly at the table without knowing what she was looking at. Liu Feng has long been accustomed to this. Because in the movie, Wolverine 3, the behavior of the wolf girl Laura towards strangers is like this. It's better to say that if she meets someone with a carefree, enthusiastic, and cheerful personality, it will surprise Liu Feng. Chapter 3. Little Wolf Girl Laura. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are you hungry? I brought you something to eat. Liu Feng placed the hamburger on Laura's table, but the little wolf girl remained indifferent as if she was blind. Her eyes were already sharp, and at this moment she remained silent, as if those reddish-brown ones could shoot two sharp knives at any moment. Just sitting alone was frightening. But this kind of gaze is not innate, it is something that can be trained day after day, not just by sitting at home every day, but by running away. Hey, you should understand English, right? Laura remained indifferent, as if she was deaf. If it weren't for her eyes still struggling, Liu Feng would have thought she was asleep. It's really a headache-inducing child, Liu Feng pretended to be helpless. I can't help you like this. Those guys will eventually find this place. Finally, Liu Feng's strong attention allowed him to successfully capture the little wolf girl Laura's micro-expression, which shook her. Yes, she urgently needs help, and Liu Feng is well aware of this, which is also one of the reasons why Liu Feng came to talk to her. You have encountered difficulties, haven't you? After all, your ability to kill is not within the scope of ordinary people. No matter what is lacking in life, enemies will not be lacking. Liu Feng began to persuade Laura deeply, and your situation at the moment is very bad. Let's not talk about your original enemies, just talk about the present. What would happen if your secret was accidentally discovered? There will be countless people who constantly want to send you for research and dissection. Believe me, their enthusiasm will be even higher than cooking food. After all, knives can be hidden in the joints and toes of the fingers, and there is also a strong self-healing ability, which should be something that can make many people feel envious, right? Including my police chief, he's not a good person. Are you willing to be someone else's guinea pig? Or choose to tell me everything and let me help you? Liu Feng successfully caught the attention of the little wolf girl. Laura looked up and looked into Liu Feng's eyes, as if she wanted to hear Liu Feng confirm and ensure the authenticity of this statement. Yes, you heard me right. I have the ability to help you, provided you trust me. Laura glanced at the camera again. The meaning is that their current conversation may be monitored by others, which is no different from being sent for research. Don't worry, I have turned off the camera and no one will be able to hear our conversation. Trust me, I have the ability to do it. The little wolf girl remained silent, expressing doubts, while Liu Feng shrugged and said, otherwise, you can also pay attention. The red dot on the camera has disappeared. With your identity, you should often flee, so what is the camera of the police station like? You should be clearer than me, right? At this moment, Liu Feng finally convinced the little wolf girl Laura. She changed to a more comfortable position and looked up at Liu Feng. How can I believe you really will help me? Liu Feng waved his hand and said, you believe in me, but there is a possibility of being caught. If you don't believe in me, you will be caught 100%. Do you think you still have a choice? And if I really want to harm you, you never have the chance to sit here and chat with me face to face. But I wouldn't do that, do you know why? Because I am the light of New York. Liu Feng smiled, incredibly sunny. The word righteousness seemed to have been born for Liu Feng, and no serious person would refuse such a Liu Feng. I have indeed heard of your reputation, and I have also seen your abilities. The little wolf finally let go of her guard and said, perhaps you can really help me. Liu Feng leaned in slightly and listened to the secret spoken by the little wolf girl. Regarding these things, Laura did indeed hide them deeply, as it was related to her fate with the mutant. Liu Feng also listened quietly without disturbing her. An hour later, Liu Feng finished his conversation with the wolf girl Laura. He sat in the office, quietly pondering what the little wolf girl had said and everything he had ever met before, and began to dig deeper into the other things hidden beneath it. Originally, the little wolf girl Laura was previously pursued by the military. Saying it's a pursuit, but actually trying to capture her alive, it's just the possibility of being caught and studying her inhumane ways. The reason for the pursuit is simple, because Laura is a mutant. This kind of thing also appears in the X.Men movie series, which represents this kind of connotation. Humans are afraid that creatures stronger than themselves will launch wars, and their rhetoric and purpose are just excuses. But now it has become even more serious, Liu Feng said to himself. But hypocritical humans, while expelling superpowers, will also rack their brains to obtain their abilities from them, both timid and greedy. Previously, there were mutants such as X.Men who maintained order and balance between humans and mutants, but now at this timeline, X.Men have long disappeared without a trace. The X.Men, died and died, even the well-known undead Wolverine died under the military when Laura was a child. The Phoenix, on the other hand, went insane and used the power of the Phoenix to vent on humans. As for the little wolf girl, as the heir of Wolverine, she naturally became a target of the military like other artificial mutants and pursued for 10 years. As long as these little mutants die. So, mutants can truly disappear from the world. Of course, the prerequisite is to be used by them for research before death. There are also those who died during research, and Laura is the last one among these small mutants. She escaped for many years with the agility and vigilance of a wolf, and also killed many people. Although most of them were enemies, there were also some ordinary people who died from her involvement. For her, the concepts of good and evil are no longer so clear. This was what she said to Liu Feng personally. If she could speak such a thing lightly, Liu Feng also had reason to believe that it was true. In short, Laura was being pursued by the military until 2 days ago. The scale of the military was beyond her understanding, and it was the most likely time she would be caught. Instead of being treated like a mouse, Laura chose to fight to the death, but with 2 fists, it was difficult to defeat 4 hands. At this moment, Liu Feng, with a superhuman physique as strong as a deity, appeared. Liu Feng recognized the metal claws of the little wolf girl Edelman and learned of her identity. Faced with her being chased by the military, he naturally stood on her side without hesitation and intervened to save her. After all, looking at the entire world of Marvel and X.Men, only her daughter Laura can use Edelman metal as a claw, except for Wolverine Logan, who's self-healing like a monster. But even if we don't talk about this, in terms of the situation at that time, just the insane expression on the face of the military hunting the little wolf girl was enough to be sentenced to death with Liu Feng. The military becomes like a demon and loses its meaning of existence. He did the same. Killing the military chasing Laura was as simple as pinching a group of ants. At that time, Laura watched Liu Feng's arrival like this. In her eyes, Liu Feng's every move was like an angel and a deity. This was the second man in Laura's life to feel a sense of security besides her old father, Wolverine Logan. Chapter 4. Military, Crossing the Border. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No wonder when I arrested her, she didn't resist. I thought based on her personality, she would argue with me for a long time. It turned out that she had a good impression of me since then, and the interrogation room segment was just her disguise. Liu Feng nodded thoughtfully. It has been 3 or 4 days since that incident, and as for the reason why the military, who knew Laura had arrived in New York but could not openly enter to rob people, Liu Feng didn't need to guess. They dared not. Anyone who is rational would make such a decision, because now New York City has become Liu Feng's world. 3 years ago, Liu Feng had already gained recognition throughout New York City, including the existence of the leadership class. Everyone in New York is grateful to Liu Feng and has established a rule that unless an inevitable war breaks out in New York City, it can only be managed by Liu Feng alone. This is a conventional agreement. In other words, at this moment, New York is the world of Liu Feng alone, and the light of New York is also the king of New York. So no matter who comes to New York, and Liu Feng doesn't dislike or have the intention of expelling the other party from New York, it is equivalent to being awarded a gold medal for avoiding death. No force can come here recklessly to cause trouble and rob people, even murderers. This is a common idea among everyone. New York is Liu Feng's shelter. He allows anyone who wants to enter, and vice versa. No one dares to enter if they don't want to. The military, whose mind is full of chasing after the little wolf girl Laura, even creatures thinking with their toes can understand that New York light Liu Feng does not welcome them at all. So Liu Feng brought the little wolf girl Laura back to the police station in New York, first to inquire about the X.Men, and second to protect Laura's safety. And the military will never give up. After all, little wolf girls are too important to them. That's the lineage clone from the genes of Wolverine Logan. Who wouldn't be confused? The military will definitely find ways to kill Laura, or lure Laura out. If it's the latter, it must be. Liu Feng looked towards the director's office. Now everything makes sense. Jack tried his best to release the little wolf girl Laura because he had already been bribed by the military. As soon as Laura is released and leaves New York City, the girl will lose the protection of Liu Feng, the king of New York. If the military succeeds, Laura will be tortured to death after being caught. My dear Director Jack, how much money did they give you to betray me, causing you to even feel disgusted with the position of director? What Liu Feng hates the most in his life is betrayal, but Director Jack is just a minor figure and is not in a hurry to deal with it. What interests Liu Feng more is the military. Although to put it to the end, when it comes to filtering out X.Men, little wolf girl Laura is not necessarily a good person. This little girl is unstable in her emotions and has a violent personality. When she gets into disputes with others, she can kill them without hesitation and completely loses her concept of good and evil. However, no matter what, when she arrived in New York and arrived at Liu Feng, the land of the New York light, it was up to Liu Feng himself to decide what to do with her. After hearing about my deeds, those ignorant military personnel dare to reach out to New York without considering me at all, Liu Feng sneered. If we think deeper, the military is just a flag, commanded by people. So, touching my field so recklessly, someone is definitely playing tricks. Things are not that simple, and they are starting to become interesting. I really want to see what kind of ghosts and snakes are hiding behind me and commanding everything. Liu Feng took out his phone and calmly dialed a call. After connecting, before Liu Feng could speak, a very attentive voice came from the other end of the phone. It's me, Jack, Feng. What's wrong? Now, you can let Laura Ginny go, Liu Feng replied with a smile on his lips. Oh. Really? I mean, how could you suddenly make such a decision? I know I shouldn't have asked, but over an hour ago. It's nothing, I have a new perspective, and I think I should trust your judgment. After all, you are my closest friend, aren't you? Ah. Oh, yes. I swear to Jesus that I will be incredibly loyal to you. I love you, my brother, as if I love my parents. The phone responded. Okay, that's it. Let Laura Ginny go, not just release the police station, but also let her leave New York, the further away the better. After turning off the phone, Liu Feng held his chin in both hands and said, no matter what guy is hiding behind, if you want to play, I'll play with you. But don't let me not have enough fun. Far on the other side of the edge of New York, in a certain base. A group of people in black stood in the darkness, like a solitary and wild human body. Among them, a figure standing among the crowd, who looked like a leader, reached into his clothes and took out a phone to answer. Are you sure? After chatting for a few minutes, the leader hung up the phone and turned his head to look at the group behind him. He loudly said, the wolf has emerged from its den, everyone, stay alert and prepare to take action. This time, we must catch her, everyone must remember, she is captured alive. As night fell, Liu Feng left the office. It was now his end of work time. When he walked out of the police station gate, he paused intentionally or unintentionally for a moment. He didn't do anything, just stood there, the corner of his mouth slightly raised, and then walked away from the New York Police Department as if nothing had happened. At the same time, on a tall building 1 mile away, a sniper rifle's scope constantly locked in Liu Feng's figure, but its purpose was not to shoot him, but only to utilize the effect of the telescope. After all, he did not have the power to easily shoot Liu Feng. After observing Liu Feng's every move, the tall building's shadow dialed the phone and said, Director Jack is right. New York Light Liu Feng has finished work. What should we do now? Follow the original plan and wait for X-23 to be released before capturing her. The conversation leader responded. But are we really going to enter New York to steal people? I'm afraid. Fool, is that apple pie in your mind? The caller was scolded. The person on the other end of the phone had a tough attitude and said, now is the most relaxed moment for Liu Feng, the light of New York, and it's also our best opportunity. There's no need to wait for X-23 to leave New York City, just leave the police station, it's the moment of action. As long as the action is fast enough. Remember, everyone needs to be full of energy. Even without the light of New York, we must not underestimate X-23. Don't forget how people died before. There is no other way, we can only force ourselves to say, understand, this time we will definitely clear our previous shame. And all of this was captured by Liu Feng, who had super strong hearing. He didn't show any emotions on the surface, but continued to move towards home. It's time to explain to you what our Chinese proverb means, praying mantis catch cicadas, yellow sparrows come later, little ones. Chapter 5. Leading the snake out of the cave. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side. Laura, a little wolf girl wearing a gray hoodie, walked out of the door of the New York Police Department. Just an hour after her conversation with Liu Feng, Laura received information that she could leave. Others were confused about this and couldn't figure out why Liu Feng refused to let the little wolf girl appear an hour before, and inexplicably let her go an hour later. But Laura has already learned about Liu Feng's ideas. All of this is in Liu Feng's plan. In simple terms, what Liu Feng expressed was to cast a long line to catch big fish, and Laura at this moment was the bait. With this in mind, she murmured to herself, "Death is everywhere. I can only believe that guy really has the ability to help me. Anyway, I am still experiencing the same kind of escape as before. The worst case scenario is being arrested for research, and it doesn't make much difference whether or not I have Liu Feng's help." As Liu Feng said, Laura has no choice. The man known as the Light of New York may really be the only one who can help her. Who else can there be besides him? Even the X-Men have disappeared. Is there anyone in this world who can save people like themselves? Do you still have superheroes? If there is, it is Liu Feng. He may be the last hero of New York. Laura walked under the darkness of New York, USA. Tall buildings were no different from the jungle to her, except that they were made of reinforced concrete, and humans were more greedy than beasts. No one knew this better than Laura. She wore a top and hat, lowered her head as she passed through the crowd, and quietly scanned the pedestrians with her sharp eyes, saying, "Ordinary people, otaku, office workers." This is not Laura's superpower, but a skill developed in the day after tomorrow. She can learn about a person's profession and personality, especially those in the military, by observing their appearance. During years of exile, Laura has become familiar with the behavior of these military personnel who specialize in capturing X-Men. Just standing, just a gaze transmission, Laura can extract the other person's identity information from it, just like the ability of a scanner. In previous escapes, she relied on such skills to successfully escape. Although most of the time, it's a skill that chops off a person's head with just one claw, it's still very useful as it can prevent Laura from putting too much energy into it. For example, now. 3 people, no, 5. There are only calluses on the inside of the index finger and thumb in the right hand, and the palms of both hands are rough, but there are no calluses on the back of the hands. My eyes can't help but look towards me. Judging by my body shape, I am charging. Laura immediately received the message. On the other hand, the mercenary disguised as an ordinary person said, "X-23 is still under surveillance. This is the busiest sidewalk in New York, and it's difficult for us to get started unless." Wait. X-23 suddenly starts running. She realizes our existence. 5 military forces received orders to pursue, and the 5 followed Laura one after another, but became increasingly uneasy during the pursuit. Because she didn't go to crowded places, but instead chose a dark alley. This is not the best location that prey would choose. Is it the military had just concluded that in an instant, their abdomen was pierced by 2 steel claws, and Laura immediately pulled hard, causing her stomach to burst open on its own. The other mercenaries realized all of this and quickly pulled out their guns, but it was too late. Laura transformed into a phantom of the night, spinning her body and using extraordinary movements to harvest the heads of each person with her steel claws. In just an instant, there were 5 people lying in the pool of blood. Laura looked at the body and said coldly, "If you want to kill me, you have to show some skills." She turned around and was about to leave without looking back. Unexpectedly, with a whoosh, a bird-like sound came, and in the next moment, her neck was shot. Fake. Laura is not foolish, she knows there is a sniper without even thinking about it. And the sniper fired not bullets, but sedatives, but this is more terrifying than bullets. Laura inherited her self-healing ability from her father Logan, which can heal the wounds caused by bullets. But sedatives don't work. When this thing erupts, her fate is to be slaughtered. Successfully hit X-23, repeat, successfully hit X-23. She has already produced antibodies in her body, and the dose of 1 shot is not enough. Pursue the victory. Keep shooting. The wolf-slaying team blocks the exit. The commander still issued orders, revealing proficient business skills in his words. Just one shot of sedative will make Laura lose half of her strength, which is already a dead-end situation. Laura's consciousness on her side had begun to blur, and she could only vaguely sense that outside, a group of mercenaries were waiting for her with guns, like tigers that had already opened their mouths, while herself was a fat lamb. But Laura is not someone who bows down like fate. As long as there is even a glimmer of hope, she will never give up. She pulled out the tranquilizer needle from her neck and yelled, "You damn bastards! Even if you die, I'll pull your back." Whoosh! Another calming shot, but this time, Laura, who was already prepared, successfully dodged with a wolf-like sharpness. Subsequently, she suddenly opened her hands, and in her mind, it was the most classic signature move of her father, the Wolverine. Her forearms spread vertically to both sides, and Edelman appeared with a clawed sound, entering a state of combat. Suddenly pouncing on the mercenaries outside. Replace with real bullets and shoot. Hurry. The first person locked in by Laura panicked and asked his partner to shoot. The gunfire surged out of the barrel like a demon, with the aim of devouring Laura. But how could Laura's speed be within the range of an ordinary person at this moment? 2 meters away, Laura is still in danger. By the time Laura enters within 7 steps, the cutting edge of the guillotine has already been polished and shiny for them. Fake. You guys, hurry up. Puff. The large artery on the neck was directly cut off, and the massive blood donation was like a fountain dyed red with moonlight, also staining Laura's face. The military, which only belongs to the human realm, cannot capture Laura's figure at all. At this moment, she is the god of killing. The outbreak of the battle attracted countless people to observe, and the news was overwhelming. However, this group of people disguised themselves very well, and the American people were completely unaware of their identities. On Laura's side, because she only had claws injected with Edelman metal, her agility was even faster than her father, Wolverine Logan. She transformed into a hunting wolf, donating blood to nourish her Edelman claws. However, it is precisely because of the Edelman metal in her body that she has a fatal weakness. That she cannot be as indestructible as Wolverine. Wolverine's Edelman metal covers his entire body, making it impossible for bullets to penetrate, but Laura cannot. The military is well aware of this. So, seeing that she had gone crazy, I had to rely on saving her life and replace her with a real bullet to disable her. The firing rate of a real bullet is faster than that of a tranquilizer needle. As long as the barrage is large enough, even if Laura's speed is fast, she can never avoid such an attack. Chapter 6. Terrorist Gunfire and Massacre. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Countless gunshots rang out, bullets rained like rain, and Laura's right arm was pierced like this. Although it can heal on its own, it will lose control in a short period of time. The military saw it useful, but a series of bullets pierced Laura's left arm. Now, Laura, who can no longer fight with her left and right hands, is seen by the military as a useless person. Hurry up. Someone go up and cripple him with an electric baton. One of the mercenaries approached Laura trembling, suddenly. Laura hits and kicks high. Puff. Edelman's metal claws growing from his toes penetrated a mercenary's neck. Laura laughed wildly. At this moment, she didn't care if she could escape. Her mind was full of killing a few more of these damn animals before she died. Hurry up. Defeat all 4 limbs and capture her. Remember not to kill her. The leaders in the military still couldn't forget Laura's abilities, and Laura suddenly felt ridiculous. She laughed not only at these people, but also at society. Okay. You're ready to go. Hurry up. The leader hasn't finished commanding yet. Suddenly, with a bang, gunshots came from somewhere, and a mercenary beside him was shot in the head. Plasma splattered all over the leader's face. Fake. Someone is standing on Laura's side. And he's a skilled shooter. This frightened the leader quite a bit. He quickly bent down and began to search for who was actually shooting, but the shooter clearly didn't intend to give him time to think. Bang bang, bang bang. No matter how mercenaries escape, no matter what kind of shelter they find, it's like the law of nature. As soon as gunshots come from afar, one person will be knocked down with their head blown out. This is completely like a hanging gun. The leader who was hiding aside saw this scene and not only thought of a terrifying character in his mind, murmuring to himself, the shooting technique of hitting 100 shots. Only one person in the United States can do it. The man known as the New York Light. Liu Feng. Fuck Jack. Don't you say that Liu Feng has come home from work to kiss his sweetheart with his lover, and he doesn't know anything about it. What's the matter now? Why is your favorite light of New York back? The leader slapped Director Jack directly. I'm also completely unaware of this. Jack covered his face and couldn't express his pain, but his little head really didn't understand anything. The leader was extremely anxious, but at a loss because he not only couldn't find Liu Feng's position, but also couldn't find a reason to stop Liu Feng from attacking him, and his capable mercenaries were falling one by one. It's like a plague. Laura also saw it on her side. At the moment when he was about to faint, his hostile military suddenly collapsed one after another like a domino. Even if Laura's eyes turned red and she was exhausted, she could fully understand the current situation. Someone is standing on their side, and that person is, it's hard. Liu Feng, carrying a sniper gun, appeared in front of Laura. A little later, you don't have to come. It's better to come early than to come early. Anyway, you can heal on your own. It's better for you to kill more mercenaries to vent your anger. Liu Feng put down his sniper rifle and replaced it with 2 Desert Eagle pistols. As soon as Liu Feng finished speaking, the military leader brought a loudspeaker and shouted at him, Liu Feng, stop immediately. You have no idea what kind of mistake you have made. You can't compete with us. This is provoking. Body. Before the leader could finish speaking, he fell straight into a pool of blood, with a prominent blood hole in his head. In this moment, he completely stunned everyone present, including Director Jack beside him, who collapsed to the ground. From the moment I spoke the first sentence, I had already wanted you to die, Liu Feng sneered disdainfully. The military of the United States can never serve the people of the United States. The military of the United States only serves capital, and Liu Feng is well aware of this. The remaining mercenaries still want to resist, but Liu Feng will not give them a chance. With both guns raised and the fire released, there is still one shot at a time without any deviation. I don't know what kind of person I'm facing, it should be you. Chaos, the shops on the street no longer have any complete glass, even the buildings are on the verge of collapse, broken bones and organs scattered on the ground like household waste, and the crackling sound of burning building materials continues. This scene easily reminds people of 2 large teams engaged in a small-scale war, with both sides suffering astonishing losses, forming a situation where both sides are injured. But the fact is not at all like this. One side may be a well-trained mercenary team, but the other side only has 2 people, and one of them is seriously injured. In other words, all the firepower on that side was released by one person. The man who caused all of this. Liu Feng, who carried a giant sniper rifle and had European and American bone and Asian skin, was known as the New York Light. He looked at the hostile man and raised his pistol, saying, I don't know what kind of person I'm facing, it should be you. Bang! Gunshots are ringing. The screen froze at this point, with Liu Feng's figure frozen on the big screen, exuding a divine aura. At this moment, the audience watching the big screen all exhaled and spoke out together. When watching the video, their chests seemed to be pressed against heavy stones, and their breathing was not smooth. That guy, Liu Feng, is truly a god of killing, said one of the 7 people sitting around a round table slowly. This is a dark room on the other side of New York, with a group of people sitting around a huge round table, just like the Round Table Knights of King Arthur in Western legends. The only difference is that they replaced armor with combat uniforms. On the big screen, there was a scene of Liu Feng carrying a giant sniper rifle, shooting and killing mercenaries one by one. This is an extremely eerie ability. No matter how mercenaries dodge or search for cover, the bullets in his gun will always knock out the locked enemies, just like the bullets he shoots, which are terrifyingly equipped with automatic navigation devices at the moment of being fired. This kind of shooting technique. He is by no means an ordinary person. A heavy voice came from among the 7 people. This voice carries an old-fashioned aura, like a tree that has grown for hundreds of years. The upper part is shaking and seems to be about to fall, but the roots of the lower part are tightly gripping the soil underground. How many troops are left now? A young-looking man, after thinking for a moment, responded, General Boyd Hobro. The elite troops we sent were originally 200 people, but now there are less than 100 left. The leader of the team has also fallen into a pool of blood. The middle-aged man with white hair, known as Boyd, listened to this passage and his face became cold. He couldn't help but clench his fists, then took out his phone and entered a string of numbers. After a few seconds of beeping, a voice came from there. This is the White House of America. I am General Boyd Hobro, who was responsible for solving the mutants back then. Boyd spoke heavily to the characters over the phone, and at the end of his words, he said, Please resolve all of this as soon as possible, because my people are being taken care of by Liu Feng. At this point, Boyd paused for a moment before spitting out a word from his mouth. Massacre. After speaking, the phone was hung up by the person over there. Chapter 7. This guy is absolutely right. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Return to New York. Jack, the director of the New York Police Department, received information from the mercenaries that he would handle everything. But facing such a scene, he couldn't be happy. This is a hellish scene. Gunfire and sharp blades tear through the air, leaving traces of smoke and flames. As soon as blood splattered out, it was shaken back by another bullet on the other side, staining the earth like a massacre in a zombie game. Jack hasn't even recovered from the scene in front of him. After all, before Liu Feng, his eyes were still in the dark. Unexpectedly, Liu Feng knows everything. He is someone who has seen Liu Feng's abilities. Now, I have really provoked demons. That guy is just a germ killer. Just pop your head and you'll be able to kill with one blow. Liu Feng, who complained about the slow loading of his sniper rifle, muttered to himself, then continued the massacre with his double-barreled bullets. The enemy had seen Liu Feng's marksmanship, and the gun was definitely not strong enough. They had to find a way to use tactics to maneuver around, but remained indifferent. Because no matter how they dodge, every bullet fired by Liu Feng will accurately penetrate the heads of people around him. The terrifying thing about it is that even if they run in circles, Liu Feng's pistol, at the moment of pulling the trigger, has a flexible wrist turn, and the bullets it shoots will turn and shoot with its eerie curvature. Yes. I didn't hear it wrong, it's a bullet that can turn. Jesus. How could this be possible? What kind of monster are we fighting against? Didn't the leader give orders? Will there be rescue? Why hasn't rescue arrived yet? If people don't come again, our elite troops will be completely destroyed. Mercenaries are not stupid people who stand and won't fight back, and their bullets are also trying to pour towards Liu Feng. However, Liu Feng, a monster like man, not only has superb marksmanship, but also extremely flexible body movements. All the bullets fired at him either dodged sideways, turned around and crouched down, or even remained motionless. The bullets fired at him seemed destined to go off course and pass by his side. All the range and accuracy could be determined with just a glance from Liu Feng. When Liu Feng was evading the attack, the bullets in his own guns were not idle either. As he dodged, he could always grasp the timing of the pistol trigger tightly. He moved flexibly while shooting accurately, creating a firestorm on the battlefield. This series of performances can no longer be described as proficient. Even Laura, a little wolf girl who stands in the same camp as Liu Feng, was shocked and said, "How did you do it? This is simply not within the realm that humans can achieve." Liu Feng shrugged and casually said, "The world is vast and full of wonders. You can all be a mutant with steel claws, able to heal from bullets and bullets. My bullets can turn, what's so strange?" Liu Feng chose not to answer. Because this is a special ability that Liu Feng drew through the super lottery system one day. Bucketoff gun, which is a general term for the comprehensive combat style of gunman. It is divided into many types according to the different styles of gunmen, and there are currently 4 known types, including fast gun combat and gun combat, alpha gun fighting technique, beta gun fighting technique, gamma. Quick gun combat. Characterized by speed. Involves drawing a gun quickly. High-speed shooting first hits and suppresses the enemy, while experts also use firepower to charge towards the enemy at high speed and engage in a mixed battle of half shooting and half fighting. They often use the gun handle as a weapon and suddenly use cold hands. Gun fighting technique alpha, its characteristic is firepower suppression. Using one's own judgment to judge the enemy's movements, and based on this, using one's own steps and movements to avoid enemy attacks, and using firearms in hand for effective shooting, attacking all possible directions of the enemy's movements. At the same time, while ensuring these as much as possible, conduct preemptive strikes against the enemy who is about to attack based on predictions. Gun fighting technique beta, its characteristic is eerie. Its users are skilled in close combat and integrate the use of firearms into combat, firing cold guns when the enemy is not expecting them. A master among them is also skilled in hiding firearms, and the firearms he uses are hidden on his body. When he doesn't shoot, no one knows where his gun is hidden. Gun fighting technique gamma, its characteristic is sniping. Ultra-long range strike is its biggest feature, and experts are also good at controlling the trajectory of bullets fired to achieve precise and efficient strikes. And what Liu Feng himself showed was very obvious. He knows all 4 gun fighting techniques mentioned above. That's why Liu Feng did not show his superhuman physique in front of the world, but was able to enjoy the great admiration of his New York glory. By relying solely on gun fighting skills, you can transform into a god of killing without the need for anything else. By the way, when talking to the little wolf girl, the bullets fired by the mercenaries with their backs to Liu Feng still did not touch even an inch of his clothes and hair. His ease in avoiding the bullets was like drinking water, or drinking a few liters without breathing. "Alright, now it's my turn again." Liu Feng turned around and entered combat mode again. Every bullet fired from the pistol was not wasted. When the bullets were depleted, he casually took out the magazine from the prepared bag next to him and replaced it. Only at this moment can the mercenaries give a slight reprimand, without the need for continuous death, but it is only temporary because after changing the magazine, Liu Feng will transform into a god of killing again. After killing more than 40 people in a row, the phone in Liu Feng's pocket rang. But he seemed unable to hear, and his hand movements did not stop at all. Just like a child who plays games until they forget themselves, no external factors can stop their free time. He ignored the phone. He's going crazy now. This guy is just a real devil. The soldiers over there kept shouting out these desperate words. As for Liu Feng, he wouldn't pay attention to these people, and the gun in his hand never stopped. So she shot 10 people again, and the little wolf girl Laura couldn't help but say, "Your phone hasn't stopped. If you don't answer it, you'll lose it." "I'm annoyed by the ringing." Liu Feng smiled and said, "I definitely have to pick it up. I just want to have more fun, after all, it's been a long time since I've had so much fun playing. Moreover, I don't have to guess the person making the call and their purpose." Liu Feng's statement is not unfounded, as his phone is specially made. He can make phone calls to others as he pleases, but he won't be called by anyone else except for 2 designated individuals, one of whom will always disrupt his playtime. The other one is his wife Wanda. Chapter 8. Liu Feng, stop his mother. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Based on the current situation, the probability of it being Wanda is not high. That can only be the person who will dampen Liu Feng's mood, and Liu Feng cannot do too much to him. So Liu Feng finally stopped shooting the pistol and answered the phone. As soon as I got through, a roar came from my mobile phone. Stop his mother. If it were someone else, roaring at Liu Feng like this would probably be gone long ago, let alone killing Liu Feng with red eyes. This is like kicking a lion halfway through the hunt, still kicking its butt. But upon hearing the voice on the phone, Liu Feng smiled instead of getting angry and said, "Isn't that my old buddy Arthur's voice? Why did he call me abnormally today? Is it possible that he wants to invite me to drink at DC's in Washington?" Liu Feng. Don't ask me. Every time, his mother leaves this mess to me, waiting for me to wipe your ass. What's more, he doesn't answer my phone. The roar on the other side of the phone keeps going on. Liu Feng continued to playfully smile and said, "Oh my, you were busy just now. Although it's not a big deal, it's just having a fight with a group of children. How can you make the chief of the Washington Police Department call you personally for such a small matter? Child. That's a member of the military. You alone destroyed the elite troops of 200 units, and it's strange that they don't want me to hold them accountable. And you're still being slippery-tongued. Are you my boss? Who are they looking for if they don't find you?" Liu Feng still wore a smile on his face. "I'm so angry." The other party's anger in Liu Feng's ears was like a girlfriend playing coquettish, not only unable to arouse but also feeling a bit playful. After all, this is not the first time Liu Feng has done this. What he has done, I'm afraid he can't count the fingers on both hands. The man who called is Liu Feng's boss, Arthur. Also the chief of the Washington Police Department. Besides his status as a superior and subordinate, he also has a close relationship with Liu Feng privately. That's why Arthur couldn't scold Liu Feng like an ordinary subordinate. As I just mentioned, this is not the first time Liu Feng has caused trouble. So there was an agreement between the two that Liu Feng's number would only be dialed to him under Arthur's compulsory command. This represents the intervention of powerful forces. And if such a large force is deployed to pacify him, it must be Liu Feng who has created another powerful figure. And when this situation occurs, Liu Feng cannot make it difficult for Arthur to do, so as long as he connects the phone, Liu Feng must stop his actions. Finally, Arthur could only demand from Liu Feng, "Anyway, no one is allowed to kill military personnel now. Get out of there immediately. Also, no one is allowed to shoot people while leaving." "Okay, I got it, anyway." Liu Feng glanced at the more than 10 mercenaries who were still alive and shrugged. They were also killed and there weren't many left. Arthur on the other end of the phone wanted to say something more, but Liu Feng had already hung up the phone. "Throw away the pistol, and then lift up Laura, the little wolf girl who had almost recovered from her injuries. The game is over, and I believe you've had enough fun watching it. Let's go," she said. "What other abilities do you have?" In Laura's eyes, even if Liu Feng did such a terrifying thing today, she subconsciously believed that this would never be Liu Feng's limit. He was like a super creature with unlimited potential. Liu Feng did not directly answer. Men need to maintain a sense of mystery, don't they? The military's matter has come to an end. Just like Arthur, Liu Feng's boss and old buddy, has always done, everyone in the police station has mobilized to wipe his butt for tonight's massacre. There are those who clean up the scene, those who transport the bodies, those who compensate the owners of the damaged shops, and those who handle the news reporting. Now is the information age. Liu Feng has done such a big thing. If he doesn't seal it properly, its impact will expand even more. The police station is still quite proficient in these businesses. As for the elite troops that were slaughtered by Liu Feng and only had more than 10 people left. Perhaps Arthur arranged for their boss to take them away, which doesn't matter to Liu Feng. They are just flags and cannot stir up any waves. And Liu Feng himself has already played gunfight to the fullest. Gunfight may not be very useful for superheroes like Avengers, but it's too easy to deal with mercenaries. Liu Feng held his chest and watched the police station clean up the mess. Suddenly, the phone in his pocket rang, still Liu Feng's phone that only 2 designated people could call. Just now Arthur has already called, so this time, even if it's for elementary school students to calculate, they can still solve this 2-1 problem. It's his wife Wanda's phone number. As the saying goes, one's attitude is the same when meeting someone. Liu Feng looked at his wife's number, and even before he could answer the phone, he squeezed out a smile and said, "Hi, my beauty." After answering the phone, his tone also became incredibly gentle, as if every word in each sentence was carefully selected. "That's right, there's a small incident at the police station. I might have to be a little late to go back. Yeah, I'm also very irritable. I'm really sorry I can't be with you, dear. By the way, have you had dinner yet? Why don't I bring something back to eat later?" Okay, I love you too, Mua." When Liu Feng and Wanda were talking, they looked like a girl who was obsessed with flowers. Laura, the little wolf girl who was watching everything beside her, couldn't believe her eyes. This god of killing Liu Feng, who was just like an ant to the military and taking lives like grass, is now even more greasy than the apple pie he ate a few days ago. The contrast is not even big. In response, she couldn't resist roast. "You have Chinese blood, so you can change your face in Sichuan opera, right?" Liu Feng couldn't help but laugh and cry, saying, "Although I don't know where you learned about Chinese culture, I always feel like you're hurting me." "No doubt, I'm just hurting you," Laura said bluntly. "You don't understand, being cruel to enemies and loving your wife are our fine traditions in China." Liu Feng appeared somewhat proud and said, "You little brat who hasn't been in love before can't understand these things. How about I introduce you to someone at the police station? In the New York Police Department, there's no tough guy who can completely control you. There are plenty of creamy kids, are you interested?" Liu Feng joked, and the little wolf girl responded with a blank eye. The little wolf girls all expressed themselves like this, and Liu Feng lost his fun and stopped teasing her. The two of them returned to Liu Feng's office together, and then 2 police officers escorted New York Police Chief Jack into the room. The police chief, who used to have at least surface power in the police station, is now being detained by police officers of unknown levels, which is somewhat ironic. Not to mention that he also betrayed Liu Feng. Now he really doesn't have the face to see anyone. If it weren't for his hands being shackled, Jack would have wanted to dig a hole with his bare hands and bury himself. Chapter 9. Go to jail, little wolf girl. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liu Feng looked at him, and surprisingly, there was no raging anger. Perhaps just after chatting with his wife and feeling happy, Director Jack's betrayal was exposed by Liu Feng from the beginning. Therefore, Liu Feng just looked at Jack meaningfully and asked gently, "So, my dear New York City director, what happened to make you, who has always been jealous of evil and selfless in front of me, betray the whole of New York?" Jack remained silent for a while before slowly speaking. "I had thought of many excuses to justify myself, but after seeing you, I couldn't say anything. To be honest with you, there's no special reason, it's just. They've given me a lot of money, which I haven't been able to earn as a police chief for many years. So. Yes, as you said, I betrayed New York. I have no complaints about how to punish it, and you can handle it." I don't know if it was an acting explosion, but Director Jack had a good attitude and even looked at Liu Feng with extremely sincere eyes after speaking, as if he wanted Liu Feng to see his repentance. Unfortunately, Liu Feng did not take this approach. He doesn't care whether it's true or false, because he has his own principles for doing things. So Liu Feng spoke slowly and said, "A betrayer will not be forgiven by others. You betrayed New York, and although you have never killed anyone, you still have to endure some hardships. So, go to the Mississippi River Delta for retirement. There aren't many people there who can pay you the money for a second betrayal of New York. It's nice to stay there. Okay, Jack was taken out. At the last moment, Jack still maintained this attitude, which at least proves that he did not act. But just like what I just said, Liu Feng doesn't care if he's playing or not. After solving Jack's problem, it's time for the little wolf girl Laura. Liu Feng turned around and looked at her, saying, "You should also know your crimes, right? Although you were chased by the military and fled, there are many ordinary people you have killed along the way. Even the lives of ordinary people cannot be counted, and you still have to accept legal judgments." Laura asked first, "So I'll stay in prison first, right? I didn't expect you to have a decent attitude." "That's right, you have to go to prison and wait for the verdict. If I find out that you made a scene and ran away, I will definitely catch you back with my own hands," Liu Feng said seriously. Wolf girl Laura did not refute either. After all, where is not waiting for her? In prison, at least someone still delivers food to oneself, so there is no need to worry about not meeting the sun tomorrow morning, or waking up to find that one's body is filled with research pipes. As long as there is this man who looks cheap but is known as the Light of New York. The New York Police Department is probably the safest place in the world. As for the verdict, Laura, who has experienced strong winds and waves, will not develop any fear. After the wolf girl left, Liu Feng's stomach suddenly rumbled. No matter how strong he was, he still had to eat. It seems that he has been busy all day without much to eat. It seems like a new shop has opened nearby, which is quite nice. As Liu Feng was about to go home, he decided to go to a nearby restaurant to buy some pizzas and give them back to Wanda. At night, there aren't many people in the pizza shop. Liu Feng walked to the front desk and ordered 2 large portions of grilled meat pizza, but when he spoke, the other party didn't respond much. Liu Feng thought it was because the front desk's ears were not very good, so he repeated, "Is it because my English is not up to par?" "Dude, 2 large grilled meat pizzas, add more cheese." You are. The other party not only didn't answer Liu Feng's question, but also jumped up and down in excitement, covering their mouth with their hands, and their speech became stuttering. "You are Liu Feng from the Light of New York, right?" the boy, who looked 15 or 16 years old, asked excitedly. Liu Feng smiled bitterly and nodded. "It's really you. Oh my God. You actually came to this terrible meal." "Oh no, I shouldn't say that the restaurant where I work is a terrible restaurant. Although it's really bad. But it's not important. The point is, I was so lucky to meet you by coincidence." This young man's behavior completely amused Liu Feng. "Yeah, it's really a coincidence." Liu Feng had something to say because he had already recognized the young man. This kid is a good neighbor of New York who is praised by all ages and genders. "I'm glad to meet you too, Peter." "Oh. Why? It seems like I haven't said my name yet." To explain why he knew, Liu Feng pointed to Peter's clothes and said, "What's written on the work card, Peter Parker, right? If I'm not spelling it wrong." I see. Ha ha ha, I'll just say, how could the famous New York Light Liu Feng know someone as unknown as me? Hey, I don't allow you to look down on yourself. The child always craves recognition, so Liu Feng patted Peter's shoulder and encouraged him as a senior. "You're no different from me," Liu Feng said seriously. "But you are a hero, and I am just an unknown person. You have to believe in yourself. One day you can also become someone like me. Even a hero more famous and useful than me, a superhero." "Superheroes? Me? Really? Of course it's true. Silly child, you are Spider-Man. As a superhero in the history of anime and battling with DC Batman for the top spot on the popularity chart, no one in the entire Marvel universe is more famous than you." Liu Feng said so secretly. In fact, no matter how powerful a superhero is, it ultimately has human nature, with both advantages and disadvantages, even more bizarre than the average person. For example, Iron Man Tony Stark, who was a playboy billionaire before becoming a superhero, naturally has a paranoid and arrogant personality. Especially other geniuses with expertise in the field of technology, they try to speak hurtful words, which is why the story of Iron Man 2 unfolds. Liu Feng also knows some other guys. For example, the 7 bizarre heroes in The Black Robe Sentinel, the fake Sea King in the Deep Sea, will shoot planes at the new heroes. Fake Superman is a giant baby who never stops breastfeeding in his homeland. The fake Flash locomotive is a selfish guy. Although this drama is not a traditional superhero drama, the heroes in it appear more flesh and blood than traditional superheroes. Every hero has his flaws. Liu Feng himself actually has some shortcomings, such as he is very lustful, and his manhood and buttocks are easier for him to succumb to than anything else in the world. As long as I let him bathe in the sea of women, anything righteous or unjust will be forgotten by me, and saving New York is just a matter of interest. Chapter 10. Enlightenment for Spider-Man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But he wouldn't say that to Peter, he would find a way to encourage him. Not everyone can be a hero. Courage, kindness, and justice are of utmost importance. I believe you can do it because I have seen such excellent qualities from you. But you must restrain yourself with the highest standards. Because the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. Peter Parker listened attentively, especially the last sentence. Finally, Liu Feng made a conclusion. So, promise me that if you become a hero one day, you will become the greatest hero in the world. Is that okay? Peter was very excited and said, I understand, Mr. Liu Feng. Liu Feng, by chance, became Peter Parker's superhero guide. Even the most classic line of Spider-Man, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility, was spoken by Liu Feng before Peter's Uncle Ben, who had not yet passed away. After picking up the pizza, Peter even asked Liu Feng for his signature before leaving. For the sake of uniqueness, Liu Feng wrote in Chinese, and when he handed it over to Peter, he could see the golden light shining in his eyes. Perhaps this release will also inspire Peter Parker's interest in learning Chinese. Spider-Man, who can speak Chinese, is interesting to think about. After a busy day, Liu Feng finally returned home. As soon as she sat on the sofa, her buttocks didn't even heat up. Wanda pounced on her and crawled into Liu Feng's arms. Liu Feng smiled and gave her a warm kiss. Why is it so late tonight? You're not at home watching a movie with me, I'm so bored. Wanda said with a proud tone and nodded at Liu Feng's nose. There are a lot of cases today, and the police department couldn't do it without me. They only worked a few extra shifts. After all, I am the light of New York. Can't we just take the title and don't do the right thing? I also brought you your favorite barbecue pizza. Today's barbecue is so fast, and I specifically reminded the staff to add more cheese, which is your favorite flavor. Wanda smiled and picked up the pizza, jumping and bouncing happily like a child. This was the easiest woman to be satisfied with, and also the one who deeply loved Liu Feng. Humph, that's about it. I'm hungry, let's go eat, she said. Liu Feng nodded and held on to Wanda's hand to have dinner together. After finishing their meal, Liu Feng and Wanda returned to the sofa in front of the TV. Wanda lay on Liu Feng's lap and watched the movie that Liu Feng owed Wanda. They finished watching the movie in front of the TV. Wanda slowly said to Liu Feng, by the way, dear, I'm going on a business trip tomorrow. Business trip? Which job? The art director. Yes, do you always forget my job? Wanda pretended to be angry, and Liu Feng responded with a bitter smile. That's because you change jobs too frequently. If you do a good job full time, you may become a rich woman, and I will be the little white face you have taken care of. I am looking forward to this day. Smooth-tongued. Wanda said, but her expression did not show any dissatisfaction. This business trip, I will be away for more than half a month, and I will not see you for a while. Half a month. That long time. Liu Feng half squinted his eyes and said, "Isn't it that I'm going to feed you tonight?" The next day. In a military base far away from New York, there is still a dimly lit room with 7 leaders sitting around a round table. Although there were no scenes on the screen that resembled the arrival of a hellish monarch, the heaviness on the faces of everyone present was no less than the previous event. The reason is very simple. Last time we were just discussing how to prevent the devil from killing, but now it is even more severe, discussing how to drive away this devil. The latter is more difficult than the former by more than 1 or 2 times. Imagine how to remove a guy who even becomes difficult to stop. Use your own military strength again to encircle and suppress him. Last time, even the elite troops that our family spent a lot of time and effort cultivating were completely destroyed, so we need to spend a lot of troops to encircle and suppress this guy who has 1 enemy and 100 enemies. The war damage is absolutely amazing. So let's just forget about it. Of course not. Just Liu Feng alone can make the entire military restless and fearful. Ignoring this matter, how can we inspire the morale of the military in the future? And what if in the future, when the military carries out other operations, another New York light Liu Feng is killed halfway? This guy is just a killing embryo. This time it's a sniper rifle, and next time I won't know what gun it is. Watching everyone pondering with a troubled expression on their faces, no one spoke up to propose. It's not that there's no way to deal with it, I'm just thinking about how to minimize the cost. General Boyd Hobrew, with white hair sitting at the head of the round table, tentatively broke his immersion and said, "So, have you come up with a plan to deal with it?" General Boyd's words are like a talisman, anyone who cannot answer may face punishment. So the second in command of the 7 round tables, Major Wilson, slowly said. At present, there is no optimal solution yet. Those with lower costs are not feasible, while those with higher costs are not worth the loss. I can only say that Liu Feng, the light of New York, is really unfathomable. Boyd heard this sentence and said, how could it be so unfathomable? Isn't he just proficient in some firearms? No matter how many firearms a person knows and how skilled they are at killing, they can't escape the category of humans. If they are humans, they will have flaws. He showed his talent in firearms, but this guy's true strength is definitely not limited to these, as his gaze told me. The second in command slowly analyzed, in last night's video, what I saw was a male lion teasing ants with its tail. He has unlimited potential, and we cannot judge his own combat effectiveness based on the tip of the iceberg he is currently showing. Although this second in command, Major Wilson, as the enemy, should not praise the enemy in front of his own people. But regarding these, the people present did not show any opposition at all, because they were not blind, all of them were experienced warriors. Through the polishing of time, they have developed the ability to tell whether a soldier is a good seedling by just looking at their eyes. And witnessed through video after the last massacre by Liu Feng. Yes, they are not blind. Everyone was like common sense, and coincidentally gave this guy the recognition of a war king, even if he was an enemy. This kind of guy. It's the best time to pull him out before he grows, otherwise we'll have to spend more troops and energy on him. Wilson fell into silence, obviously unsure of how to answer, but it's just us. In this way, the losses on our end are too great,